Welcome back to my show, guys. Well, I have something interesting for you today. A lot of Nigerians, especially Abuja residents, are very, very upset. They're upset because they feel like they are losing their very beloved Jabi Lake Park. Now, if you don't know what Jabi Lake Park is, I'm going to tell you. Maybe you're familiar with Jabi Lake on its own. We all know that Abuja is a dry city filled with a lot of rocks and barely has any large body of water. But Jabi Lake is a man-made pond. I'm not going to call it a pond. I'll call it a lake. That's what it is because it's more than just a pond. It's a man-made lake that was made to supply water to the FCT. And so when you look at Jabi Lake, there is a park. It also has a mall, the Jabi Lake Mall. And it also has like residential buildings. So it looks like this large body of water that serves almost like, it gives this coastal vibe, coastal lifestyle for a city that doesn't have a large body of water. And Jabi Lake Park was designated as a park in 2007. So which means it's a free park, a third space where everybody, you and I, can just walk into, hold picnic, relax, walk around, do whatever you want to do without paying a dime. But all of that will or may soon change or be restricted to some certain level. The FCT minister signed a deal, and I'm just going to pull out the name of the company he signed that deal with. FCT Minister Nyesom Wike signed a deal with Suburban Broadband Limited and Akadi Hills Limited for the transformation of Jabi Lake into a major recreational hub in Abuja. Abuja is the capital of Nigeria. And when you think of capitals of other countries, there's a lot going on there. But Abuja has been known as boring because there's not a lot of tourist activities that goes on there. There are, but Abuja is so relaxed. It just gives office kind of vibe. Because, of course, a lot of government officials' headquarters are situated in Abuja. So this administration has been trying, especially Wiki has been trying to transform Abuja to make it more touristy, so that Abuja can shift from that just very serious vibe to sort of like an also informal kind of city. He has been trying to push for investment that will bring about, tourist attractions in Abuja. But this particular one is getting a lot of heat. People are saying, we don't want it. Wiki, you have to stop. That's what a lot of Nigerians have been saying on X. I'm going to try to put on some tweets about how Nigerians are reacting to this new development. Let me read out some tweets for you guys. Before I read out these tweets, I just want to let you guys know that some Nigerians are actually protesting. And I'm going to read out this tweet of someone who is mobilizing people to come out to protest. And she says, if you are Jabi Lake, a couple of us are under this fruit tree, past the tennis tables, you can still join to amplify the cause. People are pushing back. They're trying to say, Wiki, we don't want this development at our park. We're going to get into why people are pushing back later on in this video when I'm done reading this tweet. This other person says, boy, Wiki is such a greedy man. You saw Jabi Lake Park and didn't think of bringing it back to life. Instead, you are turning it into estate and giving a part of it to Asian companies for just no cause. You will steal and you will not take any of these things to an afterlife. There's some misinformation that I'm going to also address later on. We'll take our last tweet. This person says, green areas and parks are very important to urban planning and development because they give people third spaces, a free space to spend time other than home or work. And Jabi Lake has been a core feature of life in Abuja. Converting it for any other use is a very counterproductive to the quality of life here. Now, let's get into why people are upset about this Jabi Lake development. First of all, what is the development that will soon be coming to Jabi Lake? The plan is to transform it into a tourist destination, put a water fountain, make it the next New York Times Square with this water fountain where tourists can come. We don't know for a fact what that is going to look like at the end of the day because we have not seen the renders. What do you call it, renders? Anyways, we've not seen videos or photos of what the end result of that project will look like. All we are going with is just words that were said by the minister and the people he signed the agreement with. You know, development of Jabi Lake Park on its own is not a bad idea. We want to see Jabi Lake develop. But the problem is who is developing the park. And that is why people are upset. Because now when private individuals and business come in to transform Jabi Lake Park will now become a business venture for these people. When private individuals, companies put in their money into something, the only thing they want to know and they want to hear is profits. They want to make money, which is not a bad thing. But when governments start to give public spaces to private individuals, companies to develop, those companies will want to make money. Then they will now price out the citizens, people who should have access to this space. So spaces that you could have access to for free, now you have to pay money to access those spaces. Like I said, developing Jabi Lake is not a problem. If the government was the one developing Jabi Lake, we know that they are doing it for the betterment of the citizens, because government is not here to make profits or do business. Government is just there to serve the people. The fact that the government is now bringing in private individuals to develop this park tells me that the government is lazy, are failing to do what they're supposed to do, and now they are giving out their responsibility to private individuals on a platter of gold. You see where the problem is? The problem is not the development. The problem is who is developing it and the ripple effect. It is going to affect you and I, people who cannot pay to access those spaces. The idea to turn it into the next New York Times is nice. It's beautiful. But if people have to pay to access those spaces, there is a problem. We also have the Millennium Park. We don't know what is going on there. I hope that park will not be sold out to private individuals. So we want to see this park develop, become better, but to serve the people, not to suck out, to take money out of the pocket of the people. And there was a tweet that says that the minister is selling Jabi Lake for estate development. I cannot confirm that because I did my research to see if there is any sort of like allocation of Jabi Lake Park to estate development. I honestly have not found anything online. It could be, but I cannot confirm that to you guys. What I can confirm is the minister actually signed an agreement to develop that park into a tourist hub, to redevelop the park. That is what I can confirm to you. So any sort of real estate, I cannot confirm that because there is no public available information. But yeah, again, guys, the development of Jabi Lake is not the problem. The problem is people are going to be priced out of Jabi Lake. What is supposed to be a free space will no longer become a free space when private individuals and businesses start to come in. That's all I have for you guys about the Jabi Lake Park development. Let me know what your thoughts are. Do you think it's a good idea? Are you scared of being priced out of free spaces? Spaces that should be free, by the way. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.